I'm on this little game trail right now, making my way through the forest. It's early morning, and this is a great time to look for wildlife. This is a big place, and it can be hard to find animals in here. So I'll kind of walk you through what I'm doing this morning and let you know what I'm looking and listening for. Like I say, this can be a great time of year to look for animals, so I'm hoping I find something. I've got some deer scat here. It's a little bit older, but I know deer are using this trail, and I've seen some prints and whatnot. So that's one thing you always want to keep your eye open for, so you can know what animals are in the area, even if you don't see them at first. I know there's deer in this area, obviously, but I've seen moose scat, and I've heard a lot of woodpeckers in the area. So it's very important to use all your senses when you're looking for wildlife. A lot of times you can smell the animals before you see them as well, depending on the species. And so yeah, it's very important to use all your senses when you're out here looking for animals. But yeah, I'm gonna keep looking for some stuff, and I'll let you know what it is I'm looking and listening for along the way. And yeah, let's see what we can find. Yeah, here's what I'm looking for. This is a great spot. It's this natural funnel in the land, this little drainage here. And this can be a great spot to look for wildlife, because the animals will naturally make their way down to this lower area in here. Because this is an old drainage, the water will seep down here, and so you'll get a lot more fresh vegetation down in this little drainage than you will up here. And the animals know that, so they'll come in, and a lot of times they'll sit and eat and rest in this area. It's naturally a little cooler as well. We've also got this rock field up on this one side, which is great habitat for pika and marmots. So yeah, this can just be a great spot to look for animals. With the pika and the marmots there, predators know that, so a lot of times you'll see smaller predators make their way along the edges of the rock fields looking for these marmots and the pika. So this should be a great area to look for animals. We've also got all these surrounding trees, which is just great habitat for birds. So I really think this will be a good spot to just sit and wait and watch for wildlife. The forest is so dense, I could keep making my way through the forest just looking for animals, but it's so thick, even if I did see something, it would just be hard to get a clean picture. So it's more of these open areas that I'm looking for out here to spot wildlife. And making my way through the forest, I can try to go as quietly as I can, but because it's so thick, there's such a high chance of animals seeing me before I see them. So generally, when I'm out here in the forest looking for animals, I'll look for spots like this to just hunker down and watch and wait for the animals to come to me. So it's still early enough in the morning. I'm going to make my way down and pick a spot and just kind of hunker down and watch and wait and see what we see. Okay, there's a lot of pika in these rocks. I actually heard them before I saw them. They can be really hard to spot in these rock fields. They blend in incredibly well. So yeah, I heard them before I saw them. They make this cute little noise. I'm not even going to attempt to replicate it. I'll put one in the video if I get some footage of it, but I heard them. The nice thing about pika is I'm sitting out here pretty much in the open. I don't need to hunker back down into some trees or whatever and hide to get them. As long as I sit here and just hold still and make minimal noise, they'll start coming out. Yeah, they really don't mind people as much as long as you're not causing a ruckus in their area and hiking around in their rocks or whatever. Obviously they don't like that, but I'm not in the rock field right now. I'm just across from it, so I'll just sit here and hold very still and turn the vlogging camera off and just see what I can get, because as long as I'm not, like I say, as long as I'm not moving around and making a bunch of noise, they'll come out and they won't even care that I'm here. That's the awesome thing about pika. A lot of photographers just pass pika by. They don't give them any attention because they're so small or whatever. But I love photographing them. They're very energetic, charismatic animals. Just fun animals to photograph. I've actually got one on the rock like 20 feet in front of me. Cute animals. I'm gonna get him now. Very cool. I just had a weasel make its way through. I think he was just looking for pika to catch and eat, honestly. He just made his way through the rocks here. And he didn't stop. I mean, he was moving so quick. I hardly got anything of him. No like awesome footage or anything, but it's cool to see them. I don't see weasels often. And so every time I can, I just love getting him. He didn't catch anything. He made his way through the rocks and then disappeared into some vegetation. It's just so fun to see them, though. I've been able to get some pictures of them in the past, But for the most part, they move through so quickly. I just don't have a whole lot of images of them, so it was cool just to see one though. I haven't seen one for I think like 6 or 7 months now, so it's just cool to see them. Always fun to see weasels. I am so excited. Oh my goodness. So I was photographing a pika over here on the right, and all of a sudden I heard all these other pikas further down on the left here. I heard them start calling to each other back and forth very quickly. And when they do that quickly, it generally means there's a predator in the area. So I look over and I saw something dark flash through the rocks, and I thought, oh, it's the weasel, it's come back. And so I kept watching, and it popped up a little while later, and I saw it again, and I thought, wow, that is a really big weasel. And then I realized what it was, and it was a pine marten. I have spent so much time in the forest, and I've never seen a pine marten before. This is my first marten sighting. I am so excited. So I swung my camera over, and anytime you're photographing in these rocks, it can be very, very difficult to locate what you're looking for because everything looks the same. These rocks, it all looks the same. So it took me longer than it should have to locate the marten and then find him in my viewfinder. And so the video that I got of him, it's a 1 second, pretty much the most pathetic video that I've ever taken, but it's more just documentation to prove that I saw him here and remember that I saw him here in the future. But just a quick glimpse of him, and he disappeared into the rocks and then up into the vegetation. But I'm so excited that I saw him. I've been wanting to find a marten for so many years, so I'm so glad that I saw one. I'm just excited. My heart's still racing because I'm so excited. That was awesome. I've had such a fun morning out here, and the point of this video was to show you guys how I look for wildlife in the forest. As I had mentioned before, you can go up into the trees and look for wildlife up there, but it can be extremely difficult to photograph because it's so dense, and generally the animals hear or see you before you hear or see them if you're moving through the forest. And if you are able to come upon an animal and try to photograph them, it can be very hard because the vegetation can get so dense. So I like to look for these areas that have a lot of the things that animals require. And so, like I mentioned before, there's more vegetation, more lush vegetation down here because of this little drainage. And we've got this rock field, which is great habitat for the pika, which I've had a blast with. And marmots, generally, I haven't seen any this morning. And because the pika are here, you've got the predators coming through. So I saw the weasel, and the cherry on the cake, or what's that saying? Cherry on the pie? No, icing on the cake. My goodness. Icing on the cake was that marten making its way through. It's so cool. And then you've got the trees, surrounding, which provides cover and shade for a lot of the larger mammals. I've seen some deer pass through today, which has been awesome. I didn't focus a ton on them because I was so focused on the pika, but I've seen 3 mule deer pass through, and I've heard some others back in the trees. So, great area, and this is generally what I look for when I'm looking for wildlife out here. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope I've given you some ideas or been able to show you kind of, how I go about finding wildlife out here. As always, I'm trying to hone, how I go about and do this. So if you've got tips or things that you do to find wildlife in a forest setting or any setting really, just let me know. Like I've said before, I love learning from you guys. There's so much amazing information that I've gotten from you guys, from the comments, and just your knowledge that you have. So let us know in the comments, myself and the other viewers, of how you go about looking for wildlife. We'd love to hear it. And the sun's getting a little high now, so I'm going to make my way. I can't talk. Goodness. I'm still excited from that, Marten. I'm going to make my way up into the trees where the light's going to be a little bit better, and see if I can find anything up there. But yeah, I've just had a blast out here. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and there's a huge potential for finding wildlife in a setting like this. I didn't get the pictures of the weasel and the marten that I would have liked, but that's on me. It took me longer to locate them than it should have, and I missed a few valuable sinkets there that I had to get some potentially awesome pictures, especially of that weasel. But you know what? It's incentive for me to keep practicing. Anyways, I'm rambling on. I'm going to move up into the trees and see what else I can find. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.